Hello everyone, it's Shel C from PaperOcotilloStudio. Welcome to the last installation of the Let Us Start with Art video hop series that was going on all along from January of 2021 until now. Be sure to go below the video and watch the rest of the links. This hop was about doing art that you could hang up on the wall, not anything small, but like more canvases and paintings and things like that. So it was organized by Bea Grobe, and this is the last one. Just make sure you go hop through everyone else's videos and give them some love. For my piece today, I wanted to play with traditional winter holiday colors, red and green and gold and colors like that, in an abstract way, maybe some abstract images, and just do a mixed media piece. This is a 5x7 canvas. I think it's pretty small. And I started out with some texture paste, just messing around with that. This is light molding paste from Gilding. It has kind of a weird rubbery texture. It's a little bit different than some of the other ones that that dry really hard. Also, it dries quickly though, which is what I was wanting because I needed to get the video done. Didn't have time to wait around for it to dry. So I applied some of the molding paste with a palette knife. And then I'm using a skewer, a bamboo skewer like you make kebabs with, to kind of scratch lines through it and add a little bit more texture. Then I dried the top of it so that it wasn't sticky, and I used a rubber stamp that I'm moistening a little bit with a baby wipe to put some indents into it. The stamp has like little dots on it. And then I kind of smoothed everything out a little bit with the baby wipe. And then I finished up drying it with my heat tool as much as I could. The next step, I wanted to highlight some of the texture. So I'm using a fluid paint. This is Gilding, what's it called? High Flow, that's what it is. Gilding High Flow fluid acrylic paint. And I used a couple different green tones to let it drip and run with inside of those lines and dots and things to make some of the texture show. I think a lot of that gets lost, but right now it looks really cool, right? This is what happens with mixed media. You keep on putting layers. Some things get covered up. Maybe you were sad about it, maybe not. I don't know. Anyway, I had a little pile of red, green, and yellow, and black and white for contrast, little bits of paper. And I decided to do a little bit of tearing and collage. So I'm tearing the pieces, putting them around where I think I might want them, to see if it looks interesting. This is a process I enjoy, adding collage to mixed media, just something that I love to do. Then I had this piece that had a stamped snowflake on it that had been stamped in, I think, acrylic paint, or it might be some type of a permanent ink on a piece of card. And I decided to use that. I just liked it, so I tore one little section out of the card and decided that would be kind of almost a focal image to focus your eye onto a specific place on the piece. Then I took some matte medium and I'm gluing everything down. I sped this up so that it wouldn't take so long. I just have little scraps, little torn pieces, and I'm using a distress collage brush, which is kind of a stiff brush, putting the matte medium down on the canvas, then pressing the paper into it and pressing down over the top and sealing it in. And I did use this kind of more of a fluid matte medium. It's not 100% fluid. It comes in a tube. I'm just trying to use it up. It's a Deco Art matte medium. I used it for all the pieces with the exception of that snowflake shape. That one was on a card, like I said. It was on the thicker paper, so I used some gel matte medium to put that down because it needed more oomph to keep it stuck with that thick of paper. I don't like to collage with thick paper very much, but sometimes I do. Then I just tore a few extra little yellow pieces, added those to the composition. And that was my collage layer. Got it nice and dry. And then I thought maybe it might need a little bit of lightening in some areas. I thought it was a little bit, I don't know. I kind of wished I hadn't done this, but it's all a learning process, people. It's okay if you mess it up. It's okay if it has an ugly stage. I have a really hard time leaving light spaces in my pieces. And so I thought I'll just take some gesso and I'll lighten up a few places. What I didn't like about it was that those areas of texture, as I was going over them with the brush, with the white gesso, I was getting a more dry brushing effect. I didn't like that much. So then I went ahead and used a little bit of that gesso to use that stamp again and make some more little white dots. Just trying to lighten things up a little bit. I thought that's what I needed. And so this is just another layer, you know. Also, that card piece is on off-white paper, which I didn't like with all the rest of it. So I put some gesso over that too, but anyway, you know, whatever. After I did all that and dried it, I said, well, I don't like it. If you don't like it, all you got to do is just go over it again with another layer. And so I decided to use some King Art gel sticks. These are like lipstick. They're blendable and kind of sticky a little bit. And so I found the darkest green that I had because I was thinking about evergreen colors. You know, the red and green of the holidays to me is about the tree. And the tree is that dark green. It's more of a blue green than this usually, but this was the one I had. So I put some of that on and blended it with my finger, and then I also grabbed a red because I thought my red pieces were getting lost in that darker color. So I added back in some red with a deeper red color stick. Then I also eventually grabbed a light yellow and tried to brighten up a couple of the spots as well. It's like an off-white, almost light yellow color. That is one of the sticks. I think I have 64 colors of these, so I always enjoy them simply because I have a lot of colors. I did notice that if I dragged the stick over the top of the textured areas, that I would get kind of a interesting effect, and so I did that in some areas as well. Just kind of fun. These are super easy to use, especially for a beginner to mix media. They are water soluble, however, so you do need to seal them. This piece isn't sealed yet when I took the pictures, but I do plan on putting a gloss spray sealer over the whole thing because I am going to need to seal up those gel sticks. And I kind of wished I'd had the time to seal in between before I went to the next layer. I would have liked to have gone and sprayed this. And there is such thing as working fixative, but I would have liked to just gone and put a whole spray on it after I did this little wipe back part so that all of that gel stick would have been sealed. That would have helped me in future layers. But I was in a hurry, last minute video for, you know, not being on time because I took a little bit of a break for Thanksgiving. I had a lot of cooking and hosting to do and kind of disappeared and didn't get this thing done in time. So that's kind of what happens when you have a deadline. So then I wanted to do some mark making, and I got out a white Posca pen. This is a fine tip Posca pen which has white acrylic ink in it. And I liked the idea of those dots. I originally had put the dots in with the stamp, right? And I thought they looked like snowflakes, which kind of, you know, the swirling blowing of snowflakes when the wind is kind of moving them around. That was the idea I was getting from what I was doing. And so I wanted to add it back in some more of those dots because they were getting a little bit lost with all the other layers. So I did that with the white pen. One thing about the gel sticks that I like, you can see I can wipe them back before, they stay movable basically. So I can always wipe them back if I think I put too much on or my big fat finger smeared it too much or something. So white, and then of course, then I felt like I needed to give that that snowflake a little bit more oomph. So I went over the lines with my black Posca pen, same pen, different color, fine tip acrylic ink in a pen form. I really enjoy that ability to do something fine line works. Then I also added a little bit of black here and there in other places for balance. Some dots, some little shapes, this and that. This is adding your own hand, your own mark making to the art. Like you do, right? Like you do. So once that was done, I had another little drying session to dry it all up and see what I needed to do next. This is looking okay, but I really thought that something that was abstract but indicative of the winter holiday season should have some type of bling, right? So I decided to use gilding flakes. This is like gold foil flakes. I have gold, I have silver, I have copper. I decided to use the gold because I've got some of those yellow tones in the background. And I was looking for a glue that stays tacky once it's dry. This is what you need for gilding flakes. And the only one I had was this it's made by Tombow. It's Mono Duo, I think it's called. Anyway, it's a type of glue that stays tacky like a sticky note. However, like I told you, I was in a hurry. So I put the glue on. I wanted something that I could apply neatly. Okay, this bottle of glue is gloppy. It's been around too long. I was having a hard time applying it and squeezing it with both hands. And as you can tell, it didn't apply as neatly as I had hoped. I need to buy a new bottle of glue. But I needed to get this done, so I went ahead and I laid down the flakes over the areas where I had added glue. And I'm using a little plastic tweezer to lift them out of the Ziploc bag and press them down. And then generally what you do after that is you let it dry for a while and then you brush it off. Well, I didn't let it dry. I just went ahead and started brushing it off. I figured that Tombow glue was already so gloopy that it would be dry by the time I got done pressing the flakes. But one thing that did happen that I didn't intend was that the King Art gel stick also thought that it should grab the gilding flakes. So there was areas where I didn't intend for there to be gilding flakes. I actually like it in the end, but I was trying to brush them off. I used a stiff brush. I even used my my baby wipe to try to wipe back some of that. It got everywhere because I put that dark green and the red gel stick in places. And I was like, it's sticking to that too. Who knew? I didn't know. So then I was like, okay, I'm going to live with it. So then I decided what I needed was some darker lines back in because I had lost a lot of the real darks. So I got out a Pentel pocket brush. This is India ink in a very flexible brush pen. And I just went around and kind of darkened up some areas again that had lost their darkness because of all my layers. And I popped a few more highlights in with the white pen. And then I looked at it, I don't know. Am I happy with it? Not sure. Maybe I need a little bit more bling. So I got out some stick-on gems, some red stick-on gems, and I stuck them around the points of the snowflake shape. First red and then eventually some green ones as well. And after I did that, I was actually happy with it. I can see the snowflake even though it's kind of, there's a lot of the gilding flakes on it. And I can see a few more areas that have the shiny thing. And so I ended up being happy with it in the end. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please remember to go hop through the rest of the links below my video, just down there in the See More, and give everyone some love. That's it for me. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.